and that what I've said so far relates in no specific way to youth. But I think it's important to outline where we've come from, so we can set the context for where we're going in the future. Because as I don't need to point out, there is no future without a youth. And so now I address myself specifically to the young people of Newbridge who have come here this evening. It may not be obvious to you at first, but you and I, as a young person myself, are coming up at a very unique point in the Church's history. We're emerging, albeit slowly, from a period in which the Church, as I said, has been persecuted for all the wrong reasons, for our own wrongdoing. But the time is coming, and in a way, it's already here, where you and I will be given the opportunity to undergo persecution, to get in trouble for all the right reasons. You now have the chance to become part of a contradiction that isn't afraid to profess that Jesus Christ is Lord, not only here at Mass, but in your daily lives. Now I know it's one thing for me to spell it out here in words, and that to carry it out is a totally different matter, and one that takes great courage. Courage not only to bring your faith out into the world in the first place, but to stand up to those who oppose it, when they oppose it. And trust me, oppose it they will. There'll come a time when those whose lives are based on Catholic principles will find it hard to work in areas of healthcare, law, education, and many other occupations. The Church to which you belong will become more and more marginalised. But that doesn't worry me one bit, and it shouldn't worry you either. Numbers don't make the Church. Faith makes the Church. And that's why I'm not disheartened. That's why I'm not running a mile away when I read Archbishop Martin's comments. Things will be different, and things will be more difficult, but that's because things will be better. Because I know that whatever I may have to suffer for the sake of Jesus Christ, that it is for that sake, that it is for his sake, and the sake of my faith in him. Following what the world tells you to do, and following what Jesus tells you to do, are both equally difficult. But the person who follows the Lord, who follows his gospel, will always have Jesus as his companion. He will stand by you, and that's a greater support than the world can ever give you. When I began, I quoted what St. Peter said 2 millennia ago about maintaining faith in times of trial. I'd now like to conclude by quoting some of what his successor, Pope Benedict XVI, had to say to young people in his recent pastoral letter to the Catholics of Ireland. Obviously, Father Pat and myself didn't compare our notes beforehand. This is what he had to say. To the children and the young people of Ireland, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus and his goodness, and shelter the flame of faith in your heart. Together with your fellow Catholics in Ireland, I look to you to be faithful disciples of our Lord, and to bring your much-needed enthusiasm and idealism to the rebuilding and renewal of our beloved Church. There is the invitation, and there is the challenge. We all know, and I'm sure that the parents in the congregation would agree, that the best way to get a young person to do something is to tell them that they shouldn't do it. you shouldn't